Warning: the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey everyone, I am He Who Reviews, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel. I named myself so because I love Who, and I'm here to review it, but I'll also review other things in the nerd sphere. Hence the name He Who Reviews. Anyway, without further ado, allons-y. This video is going to be on the first Doctor Who special helmed by Russell T Davies in a long while, The Star Beast, which of course brings in elements from Big Finish and comic strips from Doctor Who in the form of the Meep. I'm going to be completely honest before I review this. I did not know anything about the comic strips involving the Star Beast or the Meep, so I was going into this basically completely blind. Ironic with my visual impairment, I know. But I was just like, am I going to be completely lost? Are my family going to be lost? How's this going to go? But to give my general thoughts on everything, I absolutely love this special. I'm usually more negatively skewed, so I'm sure when I come to the criticisms I had of it, I will go on like an old man and ramble a little bit like I commonly do when it comes to negatives. But genuinely speaking, positively speaking, you know, this was great. And another thing I want to touch on, I don't usually touch on this kind of stuff, but one thing I do want to touch on as well straight from the off and give credit to Russell T Davies for the representation in this special. If it's done badly, I always criticise it because I think if it couldn't be woven into the story appropriately, I'm going to criticise it because it didn't need to be there. This was woven into the story mostly appropriately, with a few questions on my part, and a few minor, like, not necessarily criticisms, but as I say, questions to be like, oh, okay, how does such and such work? But that's me probably reading in too much to real-world lens to a sci-fi show, and bringing in these issues. Otherwise, I loved Rose Noble. I loved how you saw the setup of where Donna was in this special overall, how that all worked. I love the Russell T Davies nature of just how the special kicks off with the recap, him running into Donna straight away after the title sequence, which, by the way, the title sequence is getting a lot of criticism online for being essentially not good CGI-wise. I thought it was great, so I personally really disagree with you on that one, anyone who says otherwise. And the show is also getting a lot of criticism for being quote-unquote woke, whatever the hell that even means anymore. As I say, the stuff was woven into the story really well, so personally, go jump. I don't care about the criticism of wokeness. It wasn't ruined, it was good. I didn't see interviews, but apparently this makes a bit more sense now. There were interviews around David Tennant saying he was playing the 14th Doctor, which was a slightly changed amalgamation of the 10th Doctor with all the memories and experiences coming up to this point, and it was slightly different, and his reactions as a result would be slightly more matured, slightly more different, and affected by this. In interviews he and Russell T Davies gave on Welsh radio in particular. They've been on Welsh radio stations a lot over the past couple of weeks because it's moving back to Wales for filming, which I think economically will be fucking wonderful for us in Wales. But anyway, you can see the maturity, the difference, the graveliness even in Tennant's voice at points, which I think is just generally because Tennant's gotten older, so the Doctor accent has changed slightly. But you can see that he's playing a different incarnation at points, but there's the 10 flair, and there's the Russell T Davies writing, and oh, chef's kiss, beautiful. Beautiful. I love this special overall. Anyway, that's my, at this point, 4 to 5 minute intro on my general thoughts. So, if I've annoyed you by saying anything, I guess stop watching now. But let's get into other things I want to talk about. Generally, the duo of the Doctor and Donna, even though they don't share that many scenes together when she's fully realised, was great. The slowly building woman thing of is she remembering, and then stuff happening, so the Doctor has to forget about worrying about that, and then the audience members are sort of sat there going, how worried should you be about Donna's safety right now? What's going on? I liked the way that was slowly woven, and some people criticised it. I really liked it. I liked the way Sylvia Noble was slightly different. You could see more care in her voice towards Donna. You could also see still the stereotypical rough attitude towards Donna she had, and the balance of that was interesting. I liked the human nature of the way the political issues were woven in as well, because there were conversations between Sylvia and Donna about Rose, who formerly presented as male, now presenting as female, and them slipping up. And is that okay? Is Rose going to judge us? What do I do? Sylvia is the older one of the two, being a bit like, oh, sorry, but how do I process this? I don't mean to be offensive. And is such and such that I do or call Rose sexist when she calls Rose gorgeous, because she says that to her and then starts wondering about it when Donna and her are in private. And that felt really human to me. Like, I'm not going to pretend I know anything about living in the trans community, because I don't, and I fully admit that. So if trans people were in any way offended, then fair enough, let me know what you thought in the comments. But that felt really human, really genuine, and really real, the conversation around this. Unfortunately, the realness around Bully's dead naming Rose as well, that felt really real, but also not called attention to too much, not called attention to in a way that was marking the trans element of Rose's character. It just felt human. And it felt like that was a struggle trans people have to go through, and calling attention to it wasn't over-representation, it was well-woven representation into the story, and it wasn't woke, so if you think it was, bugger off. Basically. I think the political elements of it were well woven in. The conversations around it felt human, mostly, and Rose I liked as a character. I liked as a character. I won't say loved, because I don't think I got enough of her here to form a full impression, and I have more of an attachment to Donna, obviously, but Donna as a mother figure I absolutely loved. This is just going to be me gushing about different elements, and I'm probably going to forget to mention half the things I wanted to mention. The other thing, villain and hero switchbait-wise, where it was the RAF? Is that how you say it? I've really forgotten how to say the name of the grasshopper-looking aliens. But the grasshopper police enforcement-looking aliens, because I've forgotten how to say the name of it, they looked more villainous, and it was called the Star Beasts, I think. So it did make you think, oh, a group of them is what's gonna come out. But it was Meep. Obviously, if you've read the comic strip, you expected the Meep turn, but Meep was really well done here by Miriam Margolyes, and as someone who didn't read the comic strip that it's based on, I'm glad that Russell T Davies gave credit to the original comic strip writers, as I found out later, and I'm glad that the villain twist was really, really well done. Miriam Margolyes was a perfect guest voice for this. It was just so Doctor Who to me. It was quintessentially Doctor Who to me. Okay, what else can I say? Is there any other positive? Wilfred, the stuff about Wilfred Mott. Oh, my heart. I think I was going to cry at one point. I didn't, because I just loved the way it was. No, he's not dead. He's in an assisted living facility. He's 94. He can't manage the stairs, you idiot. And I just found that really, really well done, because it took you from, oh no, we're talking about Bernie Cribbins, who unfortunately died recently, RIP to him, and his character, and then it was, oh, Will's still around. And I think he did film, I'm 100% certain of this, because I'm sure I saw set photos, unless they were fake, in which case I will retract this statement in later specials once I've reviewed them all. But at this point, I'm 100% certain that I saw set photos of Bernie Cribbins as Wilfred Mott on set. It might just be a brief cameo role at one point, but I do expect to see him, and I can't wait to see him. The Dr. Donna stuff, Catherine Tate played Dr. Donna brilliantly. I like Catherine Tate's acting throughout this whole thing really well as the comic that she is. I don't like her comedy in other things, but this, she really works well. So I think with Russell T Davies writing and the combination of two friends in her and David Tennant coming back together, it really did work well. As I say, from the little of other comedic stuff I've seen of hers, I don't like it massively, but this was brilliant and always has been brilliant. I grew up with Donna as I grew up. I think I was a little bit older than I would have expected to be, but I think she was the first pairing I saw, and the nostalgia didn't feel for nostalgia's sake. It felt like it worked up to a point. There were a few issues with it, but it's so good overall, and overall you should definitely watch this. Overall, I think this was great. The whole cast, Sean, Sylvia, especially Sylvia actually, she seemed, you could hear the care in her voice towards Donna, even though she was stereotypically the same as like rough, negative, and hard-nosed as she used to be towards Donna at points as well. I think I may have said this already, but Sylvia overall as a comedic foil and as an element to this special, interactions with the Doctor were really, really fun. When he knocks on the door, could you let me in, please? It's alright, as long as she doesn't fully remember me, she won't die. You, and it's so well done. You could tell the actress was having a ball with it, and I think we got more of Sylvia being human, still being her old self, but being a bit more human, a bit more balanced here, and it worked so well. Overall, as well, Tennant coming back, you could see elements of the 10th and 14th Doctor woven in, as I've already talked about, but it really worked as a iteration that remembers things. There were little comedic moments that only Russell T Davies, I think, could pull off, mixed with emotion that really, really works as well. For instance, the very first one of, it says mistress of such and such when he's trying to get Sean to get in there as quickly as he can, and it's like, oh, catch up, and it's so funny, because obviously he was a woman like 5 minutes ago in continuity, and then when he first meets Donna, and it lands right next to her, and it's great, and the characters in this, old and new, really woven in well. I want to talk about one character in particular, and then I will get to negatives, I swear, because there are some. But yeah, really liked Rose, really liked Donna, really liked the whole old comedic cast. But let's get to one other character I really do want to talk about in terms of representation, because I am wheelchair bound, I am disabled. We were introduced to Shirley, and the actress playing her, whose name I've again unfortunately forgotten because I'm just going off nostalgia and gushing at this point. I didn't make notes for this. We're introduced to Shirley Ann Bingham, and the actress playing her, I think, has spina bifida. I looked it up, and she isn't fully paralysed, but she is in a wheelchair. And I thought it was great of Russell T Davies to use someone that was actually in a wheelchair. I liked that, and I really like the scene. I really like because it's really human and really realistic. Believe me, I've always called stairs my arch enemy, so I really like the scene where it was like, "Sorry, ma'am, there's stairs. Don't make me the problem. Just get the hell in there." I love that because it was just like, yeah, this happens. It sucks. Just go. Just fucking go. I liked that bit. I liked her overall thing. She's doing the Doctor's old job. She's a scientific advisor. Blah 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 blah. I liked her interaction with the Doctor overall, her concern about him knowing his future and realising something wasn't quite right, so it shows how smart she genuinely is. The one thing about her character I didn't like, my family thought it was hilarious, I just thought, oh god, this is a bit far, and it's a bit... not far, I don't know, it just rubbed me out the wrong way as a disabled person myself, and I mean, she's obviously a disabled actress, so she has rights to think about it in her own way as well. It'll be interesting to see what she thought, but oh, you've got weapons in your wheelchair. I'm just like, this felt like a really funny comedic moment of, wouldn't that be funny? And I'm just like, yeah, okay, a bit far, because being in a wheelchair at times does suck, and I just thought that struck a chord of annoyance with me. Not so much that I hate the special for it, or I'm going to talk about it as a massive negative, but it did strike a chord of annoyance with me personally. I accept that I can't speak for all disabled or wheelchair-bound people. And overall, the actress being actually disabled and her overall portrayal, and she looked like she was having fun on set. The character was good. That moment just irritated me a bit, really. Anyway, now on to what I didn't like about Resolutions. Catherine Tate's acting, the Dr. Donna, how we undid the mental blocks with the words she literally said because they were trigger words. Was interesting. I liked that. I liked how it slowly got to that point of the Doctor realising, you could die if I do this. I liked the fact that she was like, maternal instinct kicks in, I could save my daughter, I can save 5 miles of London town, just, let's do this. I remember enough to know what you're going to do, you need to do it. I liked the coming straight back to the Dr. Donna and coming straight back. Catherine Tate's acting during that scene the scenes were fleeting between the two of them, but they were great. When it came to the Dr. Donna scenes, they were great. And they're fleeting, but great. And Catherine Tate's acting, when it was like, I gave away all my money because I thought it was what you would do to help people. And she's actually pissed about it. And the Doctor's like, can we focus on London blowing up, please? Because we have to think about it. That's exactly Donna to me, and it's just great. But let's talk about the whole metacrisis, biological metacrisis thing. The idea that the metacrisis can be passed down biologically from mother to daughter makes perfect sense, because it is a biological metacrisis at its core. And it was a perfect Russell T Davies executed twist up to a point. It was really well done up to a point. And I liked that bit of it. The bit where it was kind of like the trigger words and mixture between Rose and Donna was binary and non-binary. That's where I was like, oh, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Not because of that whole trans issue thing, no, because I don't think the trans thing was an issue at all. I'm concerned about it for two reasons. And it's not because of the trans part of the storyline. It's not that at all. But it's the way that she literally says non-binary instead of binary, which then implies that Rose may have been considered a they, not a she, but they refer to her as she, so that's the pronoun I'm going to use. But it also is like, it ties the trans stuff in, and she's saying things like, oh, it's because the Doctor can be any gender, which we've seen, we know that, that's fine. But it's like, wait, so are you trying to imply, or at least I think some far left-wing fans and trans community individuals are going to be offended by that? Are you trying to imply that she's partially only identifying as not non-binary, trans, I should say, because of the non-binary or gender-fluid nature of the Doctor themselves, and she's not fully herself until the metacrisis thing lifts, in which case that leaves a few weird things like, would the gender be more fluid now? Would the gender politics stuff with Rose change? Would she think differently? Like, it's not a massive hole, and I think I might be reading too much into it, but I think a lot of trans people and a lot of far-left people are going to give Russell T Davies shit for that. I'm going to be clear, don't attack Russell T Davies, I don't think he should get shit for that. Because the representation up to them was good, but I think that line itself just leads a lot of questions, or a lot of a lot of questions. I was going to say concerns, but it's not a concern because I don't have a problem with it. It's just, it leaves a lot of questions and how that would affect Rose's character in future, if it would, or if it was just a line. But I think a lot of far-left people and trans people may feel kind of strange about that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I can't speak for the community, but I really hope that people don't give him shit for it. I mean, he's going to get shit for the right because wokeness, whatever the hell that means. But in this case, no, that I don't think he should get shit from the right or the left, because I think otherwise the thing was woven in well, but it did feel to me like that line personally, and I can only speak for myself, I'm not speaking for a community here, but personally, it did feel like the binary, non-binary line was like, what, are you saying she identifies as this because of the meta-crisis affecting her up to this point for 15 years? Because that's a bit weird, isn't it? But I don't know. It was just a weird line, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I like the overall execution and idea of Rose sharing the biological metacrisis and it being passed down from mother to daughter, because it is a biological metacrisis at its heart. I just think that line makes it more confusing and makes fans ask questions that we don't necessarily need to be asking, and that line probably didn't need to be there for that reason. But overall, loved Rose, loved the special, and I think I'll be rewatching it a lot, and definitely rewatching it in conjunction with all the specials when they come out. I'm so hyped. I'm more invested in Doctor Who again. This is a perfect jumping on point for people who want to jump back into Doctor Who, whether they've seen Russell T Davies' writing or not. I think he explains things well in the monologue at the beginning, then getting into the credits, then the after credits scenes, and it flows well enough so you have all the information of the past, so you know what to do, and you know where you are, kind of a thing, if that makes sense. The other things I'm going to criticise briefly, because they are small things and I don't want to give them too much attention. But I want to be clear, I have no issue with the trans stuff. It's just that one line that made me think that makes fans question things a bit more than I think they should, and might get Russell T Davies a lot of shit from the right and the left for different reasons. Anyway, the other thing I'm going to criticise is the Sonic. The Sonic making holographic projections. I think he's using Jodie Whittaker's Sonic Screwdriver, if I remember rightly. I've not seen a lot of Jodie Whittaker's era, so I might be misremembering. It might be a new one, but it looked similar, but just more blue. So it's as if he's tweaked the settings a bit. And I don't remember Jodie Whittaker's Screwdriver being able to do holographic projections from what I saw of her era before I dropped off before Flux and then dropped back on for Flux. And Flux is terrible, don't watch it. And it was kind of like, can the Screwdriver do this? I guess it's a proto tool that can just do anything now. Where it's projecting scans. It was like before he had to read off a screen that he was looking at, and I like that better, I think, and it seemed a bit less Marvel-esque with sci-fi. Again, it is Marvel-esque anyway, because Russell T Davies' universal writing has always been Marvel-esque, and he even says, I think I made a Marvel Universe-like thing with Doctor Who before it was even a thing on TV, which he did, so saying it's Marvel-esque as criticism might be too overreaching, because it's always been like that. It's just, I felt the other way was better. Personally, it's a small thing. The other thing that isn't a small thing, because it opens up a lot of questions between writers and potential plot holes, in my opinion, is him being able to project energy shields to basically save the family from a major shootout Mexican standoff situation, and then they're going through the houses, it's resonating concrete. The resonating concrete things make sense, because it's resonated barbed wire and concrete before. So that scene was great, and people not noticing the aliens, as in the Meep, in their houses, and the whole twist with the Meep and the alien itself was great. But that was funny. Russell T Davies liked humour. Them going through the 5 houses was great. But the whole thing of them using energy shields from the Sonic Screwdriver and drawing it in the air like a TemPad from Loki, it's like, that opens up a lot of questions, because wouldn't you have used that when Daleks were shooting at you? If Whittaker's Screwdriver could do it, and that was the first one that had that ability because she made it herself, which you saw her do in the first one, then why the fuck did Whittaker never use this? I never saw her use it against like a Dalek in the New Year's special or in Flux. Like, that opens up a lot of questions. But hey, different writer, maybe it just annoys me that plot hole's kind of there. But I like the Sonic overall. People say it's overused too much, and it was a big criticism from reviews I've seen that, oh, the Sonic could just do everything now. It's always been a sci-fi do everything kind of thing, but the shield drawing in midair like a TemPad from Loki was a bit far for me, but otherwise I loved seeing the Sonic abilities here. And anyone who's going to criticise them beyond that, I just think, no, I disagree with you personally. No hate, but I disagree with you. Yeah, so do I have anything else to say? Yes, actually there is, because I haven't talked about the ending. The ending, where it's literally like, oh, the biological metacrisis has slowed down between the two of you, but it's still a big problem. I then thought, oh, the next 3-4 specials, it's 3 specials, I think, next, but 2 or 3 specials next are going to be, they're going to be him having to fight the Toymaker whilst resolving the metacrisis between Rose and Donna. And in actual fact, it was, oh, female presenting Time Lords would think of this, but you as a male presenting Time Lord wouldn't. We can just let it go. And I'm like, firstly, that joke just is really dumb, because it insults men's emotional intelligence, which apparently is perfectly fine. But if we said the opposite about a woman, like if we said women can't ever let anything go, which I would never say in any seriousness, it'd be like, that would be a wrong joke to say, so I don't like that it can be said about men. Maybe I'm getting out my pram too much about that particularly, I don't know. But also it felt like it was just there to have the joke, and the whole meta-crisis conclusion, which essentially has not been pre-written to this point, but essentially has been woven in since Donna's leaving, and now we get Donna back, and the meta-crisis has been a serious concern throughout the special. Fans have been building and building and building, and fans have been going, how worried should we be about Donna's sanity, safety, and general well-being at this point? And then we get to the point where he's like, you will die, and he has to undo it all, and it's really sad. And at one point, Donna dies, and you think she's dead. And then we get to this point, and she's like, oh, we'll just do what a female presenting Time Lord would do. We'll just let it go. And I'm like, that is really, really great setup with really, really little payoff. And the payoff is just shit. I'm sorry. Even if it was just to have that joke, and even if you don't feel like about that joke as I do, that payoff is basically a joke at men's emotional processing expense. And it's just a really shit payoff. I'm sorry, it just is. So that soured it a little bit for me. Going in the new TARDIS. Again, I still love the special, but it soured it a little bit for me. Going in the new TARDIS, the design of that sort of like felt like classic but Tennant's round things design. The stairs, similar to Matt Smith's TARDIS, it felt like a good amalgamation with a classic design inspiration. But it looked way bigger, way more maze-like, and I guess because better budget and the deal with Disney Plus internationally, they were able to do that. But I don't know. I liked the design a lot, and then Donna spills coffee on the TARDIS and it starts blowing up, which I'm just like, that's a funny thing, but I really hope that then means we can fix the TARDIS and actually see the design again, because it seems like an elaborate design I'm 50% like, and some bits of it I don't like, but to make my full mind up on it, I'd like to see it again, and I hope it's not broken and busted and they don't just use that set as a one-off, because that'd be really sad to me. But yeah, I liked Donna's maternal concern and showing how much she's grown when she's like, no, I won't go with you again, because she gets the chance again, and it's like, no, I'm raising my daughter. No, my daughter isn't going in there, she'll end up on Mars, which just gave me Jackie Tyler flashbacks when Rose goes, oh, my mum's still on board. If we end up on Mars, I'm going to kill you. That was just really funny. And then the example Donna describes in a comedic way is like, that's actually happened, hasn't it, Doctor? Yes, it has actually. And I liked the whole TARDIS thing. The way that Doctor basically goes, can we just go and see Wilf, please? Oh, my heart. Yes, it was emotional manipulation on the Doctor's part, but it was like, come on, let's all go in the TARDIS, go see Wilf, he'll love it. And he'll love that you can remember, come on. I was like, oh, great. And then obviously she spills coffee on it. In classic Donna fashion, it goes wrong. Again, as long as we see that design again and the TARDIS doesn't just blow up and have to rebuild itself, I'm okay with that happening. If we don't see the design again, I'm going to be a bit sad. But the others didn't really walk into the TARDIS with her, and I thought that was what was going to happen. But then she says it's just us two like the old days, and then she says, we'll all go and see Wilf, so it was confusing as to why they didn't walk in, and then they seem confused when the TARDIS phases out by themselves, so that implies to me they were going to walk in, but they seem to stand there for a while, like, doing nothing, and then the TARDIS phases away and they're confused, and I'm like, but I'm confused as to whether you were actually going with her, because the way this episode presents this scene is a bit weird to me. Anyway, not a big thing, but just thought I'd mention it. That's basically the special. Overall, I think the political stuff was woven in well. As I say, I really hope Russell T Davies doesn't get attacked from the right and the left for the reasons I've said. Leave him alone, I don't think he deserves it. But how Rose's character is affected without the meta crisis is going to be interesting. I think as well that Yasmin something, Rose's actress, she was in Heartstopper. I've not seen Heartstopper, but she seemed to do a phenomenal job here, so I'm really excited to get to know Rose's character a bit more, because I don't think, from what I've googled, and I have tried to look this up and find a definitive answer, I don't think the actress playing Rose Noble here is trans herself. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I generally want to know the answer to this, but when I googled it, from any bio of hers I could find that seemed legitimate, it seems that she does identify as an actress, she does identify as she, which is fine, because I'm a proponent of people, if you're good enough for the role, you should be able to play the role, but I really hope, again, that left-wing activists don't attack Russell T Davies for that, because he doesn't deserve it, so please, regardless of what you think, if you disagree with me, don't attack Russell T Davies online. Let's not be that kind of fandom. Let's calm down, please. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited to get to see Rose Noble's character more. Maybe we'll see Rose Noble's character more in these specials, and maybe a bit more with Ncuti Gatwa, because I'd like to see the two of them together. But anyway, these are going to be my basically unedited thoughts on the special. Overall, I really liked it. I'm going to shut up now, because I've been talking for like 32 minutes. But that's what I thought on it. Do you agree with my criticisms? Do you disagree? Do you think that Did you like the special as much as I did? Do you think the criticisms were more or less important than I made them? Comment below and let me know if you want. That's the end of the video, guys. You can go now.